That's so funny. All right, welcome back to another episode of Screen the Screener. Matt just randomly started because of the Jesus light on Tyler's face.
Yes. All I can think of is School of Rock, it's like, I'm on the stage in a single beam of light.
Yeah, no one sees the you're in and out of focus right now. We don't put these videos up anywhere.
No. The after this, it all looks absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it does?
Don't worry, yeah.
It
It tells me on my side that the quality sucks, but then it will look good afterwards.
Oh, the post production.
The post production.
All right, big time.
Yeah.
Why don't you calm down?
Audio.
Yeah.
It's got AI.
Yeah.
It does have AI.
All of a sudden, you look like
I have an
George
AI
Clooney.
assistant.
Dude. How was alumni weekend, guy? Did you get everyone home safe? As you know.
Yeah.
Is everybody still employed?
Yes, everybody's still employed.
For now.
Everybody got home safe. Yeah, for now.
Nothing on social media?
You got
Nothing on social
media.
media.
But you drove everyone home. You were the designated driver, right?
No. We ended up staying on campus.
Shocking!
Wait, you stayed on campus?
Yeah,
I
we
thought
stayed
you were
on.
going to stay at Gabby's house.
No, we stayed on campus with Gabby's cousin in the new residence hall.
How did that work?
We just stayed there in his living room.
You stayed in a college kid's living room. You're 24 years old.
Yeah.
How many were there?
How many were there? What?
How many kids stayed in the living room? How many were with
Oh, well,
you? Was Gabby with you?
no. Gabby was working
Yeah,
this
she's
weekend.
way too smart for this.
Well, I'm with her cousin.
This is absolute nonsense. So you're with her cousin, crashing a college dorm.
It was just me and Gary that crashed his dorm. But it's not like a dorm. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath like suite.
Right, so you
apartment.
guys stayed in the middle room.
Yeah, so we stayed in the.
Yeah, I went to college too.
Yeah, we stayed in the living room. My air mattress was actually in the
Oh,
kitchen.
you had an air mattress? That's what I wanted to
I
ask.
brought an air mattress. I'm old enough where I'm like, there's no way I'm sleeping like
So you-
uncomfortably.
What's more important is that you were sober enough to actually be able to inflate it.
Yes.
What I love about this is that you're young enough to go hard and old enough to make sure you have an air mattress. That's a good. You're like,
Veteran move.
That's how I am.
It's veteran move.
That's a real sweet spot in life, brother.
Yeah, no, it is. It
It's
is.
not a bad place to be, right?
No, it's
Because
great.
you're not really roughing it, but you're still young enough to like, yeah, I'm gonna get at it. No, you have no. Go ahead.
The only brutal thing, I will say, the air mattress did kind of save me, but the brutal thing.
Wait, did Gary have an air mattress?
No.
Please say you both slept on the
No
same
way.
air mattress.
Yes. Yes.
I told him that he could.
It was a double.
I told him that he could come sleep on the air mattress with me, but he took the couch. I
You
don't
were like,
know
well, just
why.
double deck it.
It was kind of messed up that he didn't want to.
Yeah, who knows what's on
share.
that couch?
Oh, college
Yeah.
couches.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. New Res Hall's been around for I think 5 years,
That's not a
so
rabbit hole I want to follow.
that's 5 enough years to make it a nasty couch. But
Wow.
but the brutal part, but this is also where the air mattress was nice, was that we went to bed I think around 4, and we had to get up around 6.
Did you get a late checkout?
We had to get up at 6:30 because Nicholas had to coach a soccer game.
Dude, we'll lock it on the way out, bro. Why do you have to get up for the soccer game? Wait.
Well, because that was my ride back to my truck at Gabby's house.
Oh,
And I
you got
also-
two-
I
you
also
got-
had-
There's this thing called Uber, the T.
yeah.
I also-
taxis.
Anything.
But I also had to get Duke.
Call Matt.
Right. Hey, Matt, I need you to come pick me up in the new Kia.
I would be like, yes, I want to hear everything that happened.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad because we woke up, went back to Watertown. I got Duke. We got back in the truck. Gary actually waited in the truck the whole time. I think he was going.
Veteran move. Another veteran move.
And so we
With the windows down.
no, the whole ride home, windows down. Gary's passed out in the passenger. But then we got back and he went right to the couch. I went right to my bed and we slept for probably like 3 hours. And then we woke.
least.
And then we woke back up and we were like, yeah, we're ready to go. We're good.
God, I miss being that age.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
More
Any other
important,
stories?
who won the alumni game?
The alumni. We balled out. Yeah.
That's interesting.
You beat the 3 All-Americans.
Yes. And
think-
Well, they can't be that good then.
Well, actually, I lied. They played. So the starters played at noon, and so the players who sat was basically the All-Americans. One of the All-Americans did play because he was a senior, so
Anyway,
they did like a full senior
that's
lineup
cool.
against me and Gary because we played with them. We were close with them, so they let Lewis play a few sets. That's his name. But Shelly and Trey are the other ones. They sat the whole entire alumni game because they played at noon, and they played against LaSalle, who's our rival, and they're number 20 in the country. And Emmanuel beat them in 5.
Wow, good
at
for
noon.
them.
Yeah, crazy game.
Did you get to see that? Did you get down in time to see that?
Yeah, we got down in time, and so I watched the whole game. It was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I legitimately have never seen that place more packed for a volleyball game.
Very cool.
It was like super cool to see, and it was senior night for those guys too. So it was a really awesome.
Now you say
game.
number 20. LaSalle was number 20
Yeah,
in Division 8 volleyball.
Division 3.
3, my bad.
Division 3 is
My
different
bad.
from other sports.
The Ocho, was it on the Ocho?
The trace.
No, it wasn't the slippery steps that me and Gary watched on the Ocho. I don't know if you guys
I've
have
seen that, yeah.
I haven't seen that. I see juggle fighting.
Yeah, that one's fun. That's a fun
What
one.
was slippery steps?
It's literally,
It's literally slippery steps.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it.
It just whether or not people can get up it?
Yeah, and they just pour like
I
like
100%
lube on it,
wanna watch
basically.
this.
And they just try to crawl up the steps, and it's like 4 people in like jumpsuits trying to climb up there.
I did want to watch it a little bit more before you said lube.
The best part are the 2 or 3 announcers that are trying to announce this. Like,
Right.
what strategies you're going to
Right.
employ and, like, taking it seriously. And then, like, let's break down the stance that he's taking. Like, no, this is really dumb.
Yeah,
Just
no.
let it be dumb.
Like, yeah.
Well, there was an interview after
Just,
one
it
of
should be
them.
like Wipeout. Like, oh, God. That looks like it hurt. You know? Like,
I agree, but they take it seriously, and I don't know why. And it's like, it's also in the middle of nowhere. It's like basically plopped down at like
It's like Spartanburg.
O'Hara, and then you just see a parking lot that's like empty. But then you just see people trying to climb up these steps. And this one woman in an interview, they were like, "Yeah, how was it?" She was like, "It was so much fun. I wanted to use this tactic that I've been practicing, where I take my hands and I kind of push them inwards while I crawl up the steps." And I'm like, "This is." Like, you do this as a joke.
Honestly, all I'm thinking about is that. So we live on a dead end, a cul-de-sac. Is dead end not a good thing to say?
Circle.
It's a dead end. You
Okay.
can't, I mean,
Yeah, we live in a cul-de-sac,
live in a
so I have to drive by Matt's house, and all I'm thinking right now is just looking out my window as I'm driving by, and Matt just like icing down his steps in like a full jumpsuit. Like, what are you doing, Matt? I'm training for slippery steps, man. Big year.
regionals.
Yeah, man. If I make it out of regionals, I'm gonna be on the Ocho. All right, you do you, Matt.
There was
awesome.
there was dodgeball on it. I know we're diving into the Ocho now, but there was dodgeball on afterwards, and it was full on like
Those
Globo
guys are.
Gym, Average Joe's
Those guys are
vibe.
intense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't really realize that until watching that the other day, and I was like, the movie Dodgeball does it perfectly. Like these guys show up.
How
and
many
it's-
times do you think you've seen that movie?
I
when
couldn't
you were
even
a
count
kid,
one too many
Oh
times.
my God!
It was
so
like
many times.
the comedy movie for me to watch.
It's still great
Yeah, no, it holds up.
if you can dodge a wrench. It's
I
so
like the
good.
getting killed by 2 tons of irony, personally.
All right, let's get into.
Torpedo
Let's
bats.
start with the torpedo,
Torpedo.
bats, right?
Yeah.
I think. Well, what's Matt? Do you have a take?
It's not breaking the rules. It's not breaking the rules.
No, right?
Sorry, you guys didn't figure it out first.
Right,
You guys being not Yankees.
right. And if it was the Red Sox, we'd be psyched, right?
Yeah. Bill Belichick was the king of doing stuff
Yes, you
like
can't-
that. Like, find the
The
loophole.
New England fans were getting upset about this. It's like, well, this doesn't
Yeah.
seem.
Yeah.
And if it's legal, then everybody else is going to do it. It's not like the Yankees have
Right,
the
it's only a matter of
copyright
time.
on it or whatever. The
Yeah.
patent. So
And I think there's like another player using it too. I don't know what team.
Oh, not on the same team.
Yeah, I think there's another player using it outside of the Yankees org that has it.
Could it be that Milwaukee's 8 of their top 13
Milwaukee.
pitches, 8 of their
Yeah,
top 13
right.
pitches were hurt? I mean, it could be that too. I'm
they
just saying,
that
like
they
somebody's got to
stink.
throw the ball,
They just stink.
and the Yankees are stacked.
Yeah, can we get like a little bit bigger sample size?
I'm pretty sure everything will come back to level water.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I actually hope it doesn't. I kind of hope that it is like a thing and it's like an innovative thing because it's cool. I did about 3 minutes of research, and I think the guy's name is Ledyard, but the guy who basically I think figured this out was a NASA scientist, an MIT grad, NASA scientist, physics teacher in college. I think when he was 30 or 40, it was one of those years where you decide like I'm going to change my life. He went out and decided to become a junior college baseball coach. Yada yada yada. Somehow ends up with the Yankees and develops this bat. This is what I don't understand though. Like, I grew up watching the highlights of George Brett. I don't know if you know who
I
that
have
is.
no
He could
idea
play
who
for the
that is.
Royals. He got caught with too much pine tar on his bat.
Epic meltdown.
Like, all time, right? I mean, I can't think of many others. Like McEnroe had a couple like that.
Yeah.
You probably don't know who McEnroe is. He was a tennis player who used to lose his mind all the time too. But anyways, I grew up watching George Brett, that video all the time. It was always on it didn't matter, by the way. They put it on the bloopers. It was like, this is a grown man losing his mind, threatening to kill people. I'm not really sure why it's on the bloopers with the circus music in the background. But But like, my take on that was if you can't put baseball has all these weird rules, right?
Yeah.
Well, the unwritten rules.
Yeah, and all of this, like all of it, like bundled up, right? But you can go out and just change the shape of a bat. I was stunned that it was legal. Now that it is legal, like good, go for you, good for you, go for it.
Yeah.
I do wish my team had done it. I wish the team that I don't.
Devers goddamn did it.
Yeah, Devers.
I think you could have a tennis racket and still strike out.
Devers 19 at bats after today.
16 strikeouts, right?
15.
15.
God damn, man.
That's
bad.
terrible.
No hit.
I mean, like, I might as well go up to bat. Like, I might have
Right.
a better
Yeah,
chance.
right.
Well,
And I am not good at baseball.
you definitely don't have a better chance. I don't either.
But I'm a lot smaller, so my strike zone's smaller. I can get a walk.
Good point.
And I will say this: the thing about that is, it's like playing goalie. You're a sick kid. I know this. You wouldn't mind taking a slapper in the chest with your goalie pads on. I'm not so sure I'd love that, and I know for a fact that I would not want to face a major league pitcher with that. Like,
No.
with the way they throw.
I don't even like the pitch at the batting cage. I don't like the fast pitch. I'm like, I don't know where this thing's going.
Yeah, no, I have no.
I don't trust that thing.
What are we
The
doing?
ball's all scuffed, man. Who knows what this is going to do?
Especially that one
I
guy.
thought it was a sinker.
That one guy just got ear holed too. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of that. Literally, he got hit right in the ear, and I'm all set with that. It was like a
So-
100-mile-an-hour pitch right to his face.
Have you ever seen? Do you know who John Crook is?
No.
Okay, so do you know who Randy Johnson is?
Yes.
You do know the pitcher Randy
Yeah,
Johnson?
yeah.
John Crook
Scary
was
guy.
was he a catcher or a third
I
baseman?
thought it was a first baseman.
First baseman. Actually, that makes sense. with
For the
baseball.
Phillies, right?
Yeah, all the first basemen.
He had a wad of chew. About,
He used to be in.
He looked
That's
like a
awesome.
chipmunk. It would be that big.
ESPN analyst guy, all-time great dude.
Single
Just
testicle,
funny.
right?
What's that?
Single testicle?
Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
boy.
that might. Yeah, that
Sounds about right.
Something for him, right? So there was an All-Star game where it was. I think Randy Johnson was a righty, right? And so Crook was batting righty,
Yeah.
and it was coming in. He was batting lefty, whatever. It was coming in from the arm angle, was coming right at him, and then breaking over the plate.
Yeah.
And Crook just switched sides. He's not a switch hitter. He just went to the other side, on his helmet around basically, and was like, "No, I'm going to hit from this side because I can't. I don't want that coming out my face anymore." I wish I worded that a little differently. Oh, here we go. Hot start. Hot start. So, anyways, he wanted no part of that. It's one of the funnier things in the All-Star game. But come on, dude, you're the young Red Sox fan. You should be pissed that the Yankees figured something out. This is cheating to you, right?
To me, it is. But, like, to be honest, I need to just, like, actually see jeez, I just, like, yelled in this mic. I apologize.
No, that's good. That's good.
I got to see, like, an actual picture of the bat. Because
Have you not seen it?
No, I've seen it, but I keep seeing people make edits where I'm like, I can't tell how real that is or not real. So I need to see, like, the legit bat because what I've seen some of the bats has almost like a bump on it.
Yeah.
And to my understanding, the rule is that it has to be completely smooth from top to bottom. That also sounded weird, but it needs to be completely smooth.
Who knew? Talking about baseball bats could turn into this.
Yeah. It needs to be completely smooth, and it can't have like a bump on it.
Clean shaven. I got it.
Can't curve to the
Yeah,
left.
no, exactly.
No curving. Straight.
No curvature. So no, exactly. But that's where
Don't listen to this one, kids.
I feel like
Yeah.
I don't have to have these conversations.
I feel like it is
This
cheating.
is way worse than swearing, by the way.
No, it is. I feel like it is cheating because of if that's how the bats actually are, cheating. If it's not, where it still has a normal structure of a bat where it's like big to skinny, then it's fine.
You know it's not cheating.
But-
You know it's
but
not
the-
cheating because they looked at it. You know the first thing the manager did for the other team went over and said, "You need to look at their bats," and because they do it with everything.
Yeah.
Check their gloves. I mean, that's gotten out of control. I mean, basically,
Checking the gloves is ridiculous.
it's easier for pitchers to go through TSA than it is to come off the mound and go into the dugout. I mean, some of the things I've seen are like pretty uncomfortable with the way these umps check them.
Yeah.
Not great for the game.
I mean, I will say one thing about these bats, and I saw a take, I forget who said it, but they were like, this is awful for baseball. We're going to start having games where it's like 30 to 25. I want that.
So
I want it. They're like, people are going to start putting up video game numbers. It's going to look like an arcade. Okay, good. I'm sick of watching like a 4-2 game. Like, Give me high-scoring baseball games where it's like homer, 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 homer.
As long
Like,
as it's under 3 hours.
That's the thing.
No,
so
exactly.
but that's the
Exactly.
point, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Exactly.
point. So now you're going to do 5-inning games.
But that's where
Or 2 outs an inning, or whatever you want to meet. Because I'm with you, but Matt's point is 100%
No,
on. I don't
definitely.
want anything longer than it already is.
No, that actually totally makes sense. But that's
I want
where
it shorter than it is.
the pitch count I think helps with that. But that's where that is interesting that I didn't think of. Where it's like if you are just ripping bombs all day, like innings could be probably an hour themselves.
Yeah, so when we
Mercy
played,
rule. 3 home runs in an inning. You're done.
Yeah.
when we would play Shell and we'd score 13 goals, 12 goals, you knew it was going to be a longer game. You knew that just, that just makes it longer.
Scored on us.
No, not me and Matt.
We're struggling offensively.
Listen, you don't get it yet. You don't understand. We're sleeping giants. You don't get it. But we'll get there.
We playing tonight?
Are we sleeping or are we comatose?
We might be dead. It could be it.
Hold the
Could be
mirror
done.
under a nose.
So the torpedo bats, how soon before everyone has them?
This week.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yeah. I mean,
It,
Easily.
it takes no time.
although,
Or-
you have to
or-
think of it this way. They're also creatures of habit, and like hats for bats keep bats warm. You gotta.
You're right, though. You are right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like golfers with their clubs. They're very particular about the way
Hockey
they are.
players
So
in the States,
it's
everything.
one thing to be like, no, they're doing it. I've got to do it too. So I'm sure they're like playing around with it in warm ups and practice and stuff like that. But I don't know. It depends on the batter.
Available, though, right? It has to be available.
I think Devers has it next week. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I legitimately think the Red Sox org is going to look at this guy who they're forcing to be their
What
DH
is the deal with
and be
him?
like, listen, dude, you need to start using this bat. Or Roman Anthony, who had 2 bombs yesterday, is coming up. Like,
Yeah.
they have to figure it out, and they should just give him the torpedo bat tomorrow because it's bad. They're just not even making contact.
I'm not sure the torpedo bat fixes what he has going on.
I mean,
No, I think
the
he'll be
way
all right.
that they were saying though,
But he's not going to bat. His numbers are going to be like already. His numbers are going to be down for the year.
oh, it's going to be awful.
He had a ton of bats over the course of a season, but when you go 0 for 20 with 15,
Yeah.
like
You're kind of screwed. But that's where Dave Portnoy, when he was talking about the way that the bats are, and I forget the exact guy on the Yankees that's not a great batter, who people on Twitter have been making fun of. But Dave Portnoy was explaining it, and he was trying to say that he was like some crazy good baseball player, and he showed a clip, which is kind of funny.
I talked to McShay about this.
Was he legit?
Apparently,
Because he ripped a bomb in that clip.
McShay swears that Portnoy could rake. He
Okay.
swears that Dave Portnoy was a legitimate hitter.
It looked like it. The clip,
Yeah,
like
it
the
did.
one clip, he like ripped it. But
Because I asked him, I was like,
That's
I
funny.
see all that stuff all the time. Like, no, right? Like, there's
Yeah, I mean, my
that's like
Grandpa
Dave's
Sam.
3 at best bats, right? And Todd was like, no, he could play, man.
Well, then perfect. I'll trust him on this take. He was just saying that the fact of where before, if you were hitting like the label or the logo of the bat, like it's going nowhere.
Right.
But now when you make contact at that point, you can actually like slow down your swing or speed up your swing and still absolutely murder the ball no matter where you're making contact. So maybe it would help a dude like Devers, but also the tennis racket probably wouldn't help either.
Yeah.
But no.
The yellow or the red
Yeah.
wiffle ball bats.
But that's what it looks like to me is like those wiffle ball bats that was like
fat ones.
absolutely
Yeah,
massive.
awesome.
Yeah. But that's what it looks like to me. And I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. There's a whole, remember, what was the name of that Kevin Costner movie that's pretty good? Bull Durham. He gives this whole speech about he's a minor league catcher. That's a great movie, too. We should review that one at some point. That's a good one, I think. But he gives a whole speech about what the difference between batting 300 and batting 275 or 260 and being the league is. And it's like 5 hits over the course of a season. That's probably wrong, but it's not many. It's not many. It makes you think.
It's like an extra hit a week or
It's,
something.
and,
like
like,
that.
and he calls it like an extra bloop, an extra, ground ball with eyes. Like just, a couple of those, and you're in the big leagues or you're in the minors,
Yeah.
which is nuts. All right, let's get to the basketball. I knew Duke was good. Really,
Sweet, we have 4 number 1 seeds in the finals.
dude.
I think they're legit number
Oh,
one.
yes.
So I'll give it to
Yeah,
them.
but all the games going to it were boring.
Why?
This has been the most boring March Madness.
You thought really?
This has been the most
No, they-
boring March
There
Madness.
hasn't been a ton of buzzer beaters.
But I don't need like a Cinderella story
You
or
did.
anything.
I
like-
told him this, by the way, on Saturday. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I
No,
know.
you're good.
He nailed every one of his takes, and a lot of his takes from the beginning, but all of his takes last week, he said Alabama's not going to hang with Duke, and that was an Alabama team that had come off, that had just torched BYU. You said Alabama
Yeah.
was going to kill BYU.
Yeah.
They did, and I think you said that Alabama can't hang with Duke.
Yeah.
You gave the Texas Tech Arkansas game going to be a bloodbath, low scoring. Texas Tech can shoot. They win a close one. It was like 62-60. Yeah, there's been some buzzer beaters like the Dairy Queen.
I don't know.
There's 64 games. There's been like 3 buzzer beaters.
Yeah, and but even I don't need buzzer beaters.
I don't either.
I need back and forth basketball, and it's up 10, down 10, up 10, down 10. I feel like I'm watching the NBA.
Dude,
and it's also the other piece too is this is definitely because of the NBA, and we're starting to see it, and it's unfortunate, but I'm sure if you watch March Madness from 5-10 years ago, they're moving the ball around. There's an actual offense that we're seeing now, and it could be because we have so much talent. I literally watched like streaks of Auburn not scoring a basketball.
Yeah.
Because they would just come down the court and jack up a three, do some crazy move, jack up a three, and they're just that good where it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're gonna win. But it was so bad to watch. And Michigan State just throwing up bricks all day long. Like
I don't know, man. I loved watching.
It was brutal to watch.
Watching Alabama put on that show. You were texting. You were excited. Everything
Yeah,
was in caps.
I was hyped.
Your boy Mark Sears. What a weekend. To break the record for threes and then get absolutely totally frustrated by Duke.
I mean, it just goes to show how good Duke is, though.
That's what I mean. This is what I was saying. I knew Duke was good, and I picked Florida because I thought Florida was the best team. Man, that Duke team is.
Cooper Flagg's a bad man.
He is the you've seen a lot of great college basketball players.
Yeah.
He is the one where I look at and say, you're a pro.
Yeah.
The other guys, he's going to be a great pro. You looked at Melo and you were like, he's going to be a great pro. A lot of players you could look at and say, he's going to be a great pro.
Yeah, you're a guy that you said was Cade Cunningham. I remember a few years. You were like, he's going to be a great pro. The way that he shows up, the way that he acts on the court, you see that with Cooper Flagg. Like,
he's already there, though.
He's
already. I think, and I hate when people say this stuff because it's like hyperbole most of the time. He could step onto an NBA court right now and be like the seventh man. Maybe he's not a starter right away. But you can't tell me there's not teams that he could step on and contribute to right away. That's his game.
1,000. Dude, he was giving people the work during USA practice. He was literally giving Anthony Davis the work.
He's just it's a pro game. The way he moves, the way he. I did hear some audio of him, and he does sound like a college kid.
Yeah.
He still does, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think he'll look
he's
back.
18 years old. Yeah.
His voice crack or something.
It's just.
This has been a really great guy.
It's like a softer voice.
And the way he talks too is like, when you're younger, we all do this. You're like trying to fit in a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's saying certain things. Not that he's a guy who's trying to fit in, but we all do it, right? We all have these things. And he just was acting and speaking like a little kid. And I was like, that's funny that this guy.
He's from the middle of nowhere, Maine.
I know.
So that's probably also
Have you
goes
seen
into it.
Did you see his high school team? Do you know who was on his high school team?
Oh, like my guy, Derek Queen.
Derek Queen.
Yeah.
In high school. Can you imagine those two rolling in your gym?
Insane.
No way. And then they had other guys in there, too, that I'm not remembering their names. There was a
Bunch of
wasn't
dogs.
that like a
bunch of 5 stars.
Wasn't it a prep school in Florida?
Yeah.
That's just basically
And that
feeder
I don't know,
school.
man.
Well, that
I think that does happen. This one looked a little different.
That high school does end up having, I can't say high school, prep school is absolutely insane. They always get the best. Like Cade Cunningham went there, D'Lo went there, Ben Simmons, when Ben Simmons was actually good, went there. So like they get some dudes, but the interesting thing for Cooper Flagg for me that shows how good he is, and I need to start remembering who says these things, but this guy was saying that Cooper Flagg went for one of those like AAU teams, and they're playing in the Nike EYBL, which is like the premier league for AAU, and he went to play for the team, and they were like, yeah, like kind of like you're a guy from Maine, like you're good, yada yada, like we'll put you on the twos team, and he was like, nah, I'm good. He went home, started his own AAU program, made it literally like just grabbed boys from his hometown, made a team.
Wording again, not great there.
It was just what boys?
He grabbed boys from his hometown.
Don't clip that. But so he just like took his boys from back home and made a Maine AAU basketball team, and was so good, and it was basically just him that they got into the Nike UIBL and won the Nike UIBL as the main, I forget what they called them, but it was just some main team that he made for 1 year so that he could play AAU basketball because people were doubting him. Like, it just shows how good this kid is.
The story about Scalabrini, someone asked him to go up and look at him. They said,
yeah,
and Scalabrini went up and was like, yep.
Scal knows all.
Yeah, it's funny how it's a community, right? They all have their, and it's a much smaller. It's like hockey too, I think, but even smaller than hockey. You just don't have that many players that
Yeah.
and they're all funneled into this. It starts early, so the basketball community is interesting, and I'm sure that someone was like, "Yeah, ask Cal if he could play."
Yeah.
And he went up there and was like, yep, this kid's for real.
And the best part about Cooper Flag too is that I don't remember if I said it on this podcast, but the thing with him was he had to show out the way that he is right now. I didn't expect him to do this well, but he had to get to this point for his draft stock.
Really?
Because coming into March Madness, some people were saying,
I don't know,
you should
man.
go back for a year. Some people were saying,
Who's saying that?
it was on the
Because he didn't put up a lot of points because they were blowing everyone out.
it was like the points, and then it was basically I think it was like Stephen A was saying that if Duke ends up doing well without Cooper Flag, then Cooper Flag should go back for a year. Which
Did he
is
put up 30
stupid.
or 40 in the ACC tournament?
Yeah, he did. Like he's a dog, but like that's what I'm saying is like people are always going to doubt greatness.
Do you know like what's his weakness in his game? Has he just got to get a little stronger?
His weakness?
I don't
see a weakness, and to be
He can
honest,
shoot from the outside. He had mid-range touch. He can dribble. He can drive. I was blown
his
away.
playmaking is absolutely amazing.
Blown away by his defense.
But that's where
When he's guarding smaller players, I could not believe how his position.
Yeah.
Remember did you see the offensive foul he drew at against Alabama at the end? I was like, dude, I don't like that's different.
No, he's a beast, and like that's where Skip came out and was saying that his player comparison, and back to the Celtics, is Jason Tatum, where he will do it all. And one night he'll put up 12.
He's taller than Tatum though, right?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming, but Tatum's pretty tall.
He is. No, I know.
But like basically I liked that because Cooper Flag will show up, and if they're telling him, hey, listen, man, like we need you to be more of a playmaker tonight, he'll go get 10 assists and kind of reserve himself and get 12 points, 10 assists, 10 boards, whatever you need. Tatum will do the same thing. Or if you're like, listen, dude, you just need to like attack. He'll get 30, but still get 6 assists, 10 boards. Like he will do it all, and then you legitimately can't score around the rim against Duke when he's on the court.
Who's the other big guy?
I forget his name, but he's a beast.
Lob
He's a
City,
beast.
rim protector.
Off of everything.
By the way,
too.
he's a 71% free throw shooter. I was like, oh, maybe I was like, maybe that's a weakness for the team. You start fouling them, like I think that Florida did with Arkansas.
Yeah.
Which was that was a great March Madness game, by the way. Tune in, maybe, boys.
No, it was, but I was at the bar.
Oh God, get out of the bar. Get in the game. First of all, what bar are you at that you're not watching that game?
Bill's Bar, which there was a TV.
I don't.
I was at
But it
Lansdowne
was on
Pub.
CNBC.
I'm not even.
I was at Lansdowne Pub.
Why is that Bill's bar?
It's connected to Bill's Bar. There's like a
I'm not
back
even-
door that goes to Bill's
I'm
Bar.
so out of touch with what's happening in Boston and with like young people that I don't know if you're like messing with me right now.
No, I'm dead serious.
I literally don't know.
It was a Saturday night, and all of Bill's Bar and most of Lansdowne.
Why
was
is it
like
called
a
Bill's
manual
Bar?
beeper. I don't know when it opened.
Named anything.
Bill
right?
Miller.
Yeah.
It's basically
Like Belichick though, I didn't know if it was like a thing. Like
No,
you know what I
no.
mean?
But you go into Lansdowne, and then you go around the bar, around the back, and then there's a door, and there's like 3 steps down, and then it's like
You've
a
said too
hallway.
much already. You've said too much.
No, everybody knows
Are
it.
the beers cheap?
Oh, everybody knows it. I don't know it.
Well, you're old.
Are the beers cheap?
No, everything is still expensive as hell in Boston for no reason.
Yeah.
You're not getting a beer under $10.
Who's the? No, not even close, right?
That's absurd,
It's
isn't
like a
it?
Bud Light for $10. I mean, we had $4 beers, right? I mean, that's what a beer was.
Feels like it.
And you didn't tip more than $1 per drink.
Yeah, you got to tip more
It
than
was
a
like
dollar.
a dollar a round.
Right. You still do that, right?
But I do a dollar drink.
$1 a drink.
Now I do.
That's what I do.
Back then
but
it was a dollar.
I'm kind of a scumbag for doing that, but I do $1 a drink.
You
People
do.
don't do that.
You should.
Yeah, you
I
guys are the
don't.
one that told me to do that.
I'm the
I do
most.
$1 a
I'm the
drink.
most,
Well, like,
I'm
so
the
if
most
I go
guilty
to-
tipper ever. For some reason, I want them to like me.
Like if I'm getting 5 drinks, then I'm
what are we
just
doing?
tipping $5.
By the way, it has nothing to do with how attractive the bartender is or not. I, just,
Yeah.
I will leave 20% on anything I do.
Just care what.
I refuse to do it. At
I
TV
don't know.
bar.
I don't know what my
It
problem
is a $38 for
You're
2 beers.
100% right.
I'm not tipping you $8 because you went like this.
Yeah.
It is a me problem.
Or not,
But I
not
do
even
it.
that. Like I got 5 like Coors Lights, and you just crack them open.
Iris,
$5.
Iris has gotten over it, but it used to drive her nuts. Like, what are we doing? Like, they just got you a beer. You can't tip.
My favorite part is when they are watching you
But what
do
if
the
they don't
tip
like
and
me?
you make eye contact.
Oh my God.
And you're like, no tip.
Yeah. Right.
Like that.
Oh my!
I act like a badass. I don't do that.
I overheard one the other day. I was like, "I'm not tipping you on here because I'm going to tip you in cash." And I was like, "What's that look like?" He was like, Here's a $2 bill." What is that?
It's got my church information on the
I want to know.
backside.
I want to know what the end game is here.
Well, that's why I got lucky when I was in college because I won't call it what we call it, but Tavern in the Square in Alston, our two very close friends, Johnny and Shannon.
In the square.
Johnny and Shannon, our two close friends, would work
Keep
there,
going.
and they wouldn't charge us for, well, technically they wouldn't, but they wouldn't charge us for drinks at all. We would just Venmo them like $20 at the end of the night.
He's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that's called stealing.
It's called, yeah. Trust me.
And then
Well,
we've all been bartenders.
that location is shut down now.
So we're good.
It's like a bougie club now. So
There's a statute of limitations.
yeah,
That's like the kid who would, when I bartended, would go and act like he'd make like 8 drinks or whatever and be like, it's $45, and they give him cash, and he'd go and he'd put 1 drink in the thing and pocket the rest in his mom.
That is definitely stealing.
Yeah,
genius.
no, that guy was a scumbag douchebag.
Yeah, that is.
Oh my god,
There's a word for that. I
He used
can't
to
remember
steal.
what it is.
I can't
Scumbag?
remember it.
Yeah.
He used to steal handles from the basement.
Scumbag. Used to steal handles from there too.
Yeah.
Damn.
My senior year, Sam Kaufman, my
Not to name drop.
my buddy from Richmond, best guy ever. He worked at a place called Goodfellas that we would go and get. I mean, it wasn't good because they were going out of business. So we'd go and see Sam on like Wednesday nights our senior year, and so they closed down and they told Sam they're like, "We need to get rid of it all. Take whatever you want." Like it's just one of those things. Where like, yeah. So he was
Dream
one roommate.
buoy, hell yeah!
My other roommate was Alex Stevens. This kid was from upstate New York. He lives in Jackson Hole, Wyoming now. Very good mechanically with things and liked beer a lot. So we had a full bar, like all like grenadine, all that stuff. And it wasn't like top shelf because Goodfellas wasn't really a top shelf kind of place, you know what I mean? But we had every liquor you could think of, and then he'd taken a couple of the kegs and turned them into we had a kegerator in our house. Like you could just, Poland Springs and beer. That's like basically how
That's
it was.
nice.
And yeah, it was a real interesting last semester of college, man.
Free beer.
Yeah.
It's what cost you your draft stock, right?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it was.
That my 24-inch arms.
You were gonna.
My T-Rex arms.
You were Will Campbell before Will Campbell.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh my God! Don't even get me started with that. Have you seen this stuff now?
Yeah.
You've seen this?
Yeah.
I want to get back to Duke in a minute here, but have you seen this where his arms are a different length here? First of all, what was happening at the combine? I don't know. I'm asking you. What was happening at the combine? Because all the measurements are off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of them.
They're looking at the metric side instead of the imperial
I
side.
don't know. Well, no, that would be way off, right? You tell me. You're the math guy. That would be way off,
Yes,
right?
it would be way off.
Is this gonna be the fall of the combine now? Where the people are like, there's no point in doing this?
You think this is what's going to take down the combine? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just do pro days.
Yeah, you just hot takes just go right through those, right through that brain. No, but it is interesting because the same guy does the 40 every year. Anyone who watches the 40, why not do the same guy to do the measurements unless you have to change them out?
Right.
And it's kind of a mess because Will's was 32 3/4 at the combine, I think, and then or 32 5/8, something like that, and then 33.
Does the extra eighth matter?
It does.
Why?
Yes.
It does. It's 3/8 first of all. Second of all, because they're just numbers when you go back. I know it's crazy. But there are numbers when you go back in terms of measurements of these players historically just don't do well at that position.
No, I understand, but does it matter if it's 3/8 or 1/4? An eighth of an inch is really going to make a difference.
I think when you look at 33 inches, I think he might have the shortest arms for a starting left tackle in the NFL if he made it. He would be in that conversation. There's 2 other guys with sub 33. I think his might.
How big is his hands?
I don't remember. I want to say 10 inches, but I don't remember.
I don't know what the average is. So
10 inches is a good size hand.
you know what they say about big hands,
Uh-huh.
big gloves.
There's a joke I have to tell you after we get off this. It's about Kenny Pickett and Deshaun Watson. It's pretty good. So I'll have to tell you when we get
Does it
off.
also have the kicker from the Ravens?
He could show up. Let's put it this way. He's not an active part of the joke, but he might be in the room. All right, back to Duke. The kid from Milwaukee. Knipple?
Milwaukee.
The kid who's on Duke from Milwaukee. He's got the
Yes.
hair.
Yes.
Knipple, right?
Yeah.
Is his brother on the Lakers? Is that who that is?
Ooh. No.
Isn't there a Knipple on the Lakers?
Are you thinking of Dalton Connect?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Same. What's the Knipple's kid's first name?
I think it's like
It's a Cole or it's
I
like
think it's
some,
like Ken.
It's some weird name, but that kid can play too, man.
Yeah, that kid's a
That's
dog.
that's the kid, and they joked about it. I don't know if you heard.
Con Knipple.
Con Knipple.
We're probably
Is it Con, C-O-N?
Kon.
Okay.
Con Knipple.
Con Knipple. I'm gonna
Is
make
it
sure.
K-N-I-P-P-L-E?
K-N-U-E-P-P-E-L.
Wait, do it again.
It's got to be Nupel, right?
K-N-U-E-P-P-E-L.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty German. I would imagine it's Nupel.
Milwaukee kid, Polish probably.
But he,
That's rough scenes,
it's
dude.
a rough name.
What, dude? You should see him ball.
I
He's
wonder what
fine.
his full name is. But
Full head of hair. His kid's doing all right.
But he started like cooking at the beginning of the year, and they were starting to say that he might be like the dude at Duke, not Cooper
Well,
Flag.
he's definitely number 2.
He's definitely number 2.
There's
but
no
there was-
question who number 2 is.
But that's where in
there's
the
no question who
beginning-
number 1 is, but there's no question who number 2 is.
But that's where sports media, we talked about it before,
Yeah.
like was very much like, oh well, this might be
it's
actually
Tuesday.
the guy.
Yeah, it's Tuesday in January. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, exactly.
But
I wonder what his full name is.
they talked about it after that game. When he showed up there, he was a really skilled player. All the things you say about a white athlete.
Yeah.
By the way, smart, skilled, tough, competitive.
He's also Con Knipple the second, by the way.
Con Knipple has a father named Con Knipple.
I guess so.
Well, if he's the second, does that mean that like it's the grandfather or whatever?
Oh,
Is
so he would
a
technically
junior?
be like the third, right?
Or you skip a generation, you're at the second because you're not a junior.
My dad screwed me on that one, by the way. He's Stephen Raymond Mensch. I'm Stephen Richard Mensch. So I'm technically not a junior, but everyone in the world thinks I still get mail that says Steve Mensch Jr. But yeah, Con Knipple, they were basically said all the things you could say about a white guy, and they were concerned that when he got to Duke and got some of these better athletes going against him, that
Yeah.
he wasn't. That's not a thing for him.
He's a shooter.
And he's like, he's just
White guy.
smart. Understand? I just said it. I just did it. But he understands how to get to the hoop. He understands how to, leverage and all that stuff. He's good.
No,
So
he is.
That Duke team's better. I think that Duke team's going to win it. The Florida team looked good at times,
Yeah.
but I don't think anyone's stopping that Duke team.
If Walter Clayton is not ready to go.
Is he hurt?
No. He's not hurt. I'm just saying, like,
he doesn't play well.
if he starts out slow, I don't see them being able to come back the way that they did against Arkansas. And the other thing too with Walter Clayton,
no one has the length that Duke has. Right?
I know that's the other
Their
thing.
length is insane.
Yeah, and that's where Florida would have to just offensively overpower Duke because on the defensive end they're not going to be able to keep up. So they're it's just going to honestly with Florida it's going to be like the Bengals this year. Like they're just going to have to put up so many points that the other team is just going to have to try to keep up.
You have this weird infatuation with a Bengals team that didn't make it to the playoffs.
I'm talking about this year.
The Bengals didn't go to the playoffs.
I'm not talking about this past season.
Oh, you're
this-
talking about your projection for next year.
Yeah, where they're just pouring money into their offense
What-
because they have no defense. Is what I'm trying to say. Florida has only offense, no defense. Is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Another thing with Walter Clayton, and I'll do this really quickly.
No, take your time.
He was a 4-star football recruit coming out of high school and a 0-star basketball recruit
Really?
coming out of high school. Went to Iona, played for Rick Pitino, left Iona to go to Florida.
Did you see?
So
Oh,
he
yeah,
he
I would've
literally
left Iona
was
to go to Florida,
a
too.
0, but no, but he was
Rick
a,
Pitino left Iona.
But what's interesting is that he was a 4-star football recruit, 0 basketball, and he was like, I love basketball. I'm gonna just keep playing basketball.
Every year when I was studying these guys' backgrounds,
crazy.
I can't tell you how many guys are, former basketball players or also play basketball in high school. Almost all of them, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You see the Tatum when he was on the Kelsey pod,
I saw clips, but
where they asked him, could a football player play basketball?
oh, I didn't see that part.
First of all, they asked him, could a basketball player play football? And he was like, in a week? Like, I hate when they're like, oh, LeBron could walk on to the Eagles practice field right now and be a tight end. And Tatum's like, I have too much respect for what you guys do. Now, if you gave a guy a year who's an NBA basketball player and trained him,
The Colts love taking tight ends that are basketball players.
we already know this, right? Antonio Gates is the most. That's probably why they do it, because Antonio Gates is the most famous. So we already know the basketball players can do it.
Russell Westbrook.
Jimmy Graham. Russell Westbrook?
No, I'm saying like a current NBA player that I could see if you gave
That's
him a year.
actually, I think that's the player they talked about.
If you gave him
would
a
have said
year.
something about it. So maybe some of these guys could do it. I don't think all of them could do it. I don't think the ones that are, I don't think LeBron could do it. I'll be honest with you. I think LeBron's a really tough basketball player. I don't think if he got hit in the teeth on the football field, he'd love it.
Not even get hit in the teeth. I think if they just like tackled him around or below the waist,
Right.
he wouldn't know how
It's a
to.
different
He wouldn't be able
game.
to bounce off like that.
But it was funny because then they asked, well, do you think we could play basketball? And Travis was like, man, I still got hoop dreams. I know. I'm 35. I still have. And Tatum, with kind of like side was like, I have a lot of respect for what you guys do. And they started laughing because they immediately knew. Like,
Yeah.
no, I can't. The skill level to play basketball is so different. And again, it's the numbers game, right? You have 5 on a court. In football, you have 11. You have different positions. You can find a guy that's a specialist at something, right?
Yeah.
He could be a blocking tight end. He could be a catching tight end. He could be a slot receiver. There's some kind of role you can find for elite athletes.
Yeah.
I can't think of one NFL player.
Well, we talked about last week where the number 12 guy on a roster is still going to dust anybody off the street.
Dust.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Just destroy. And it's the same way, by the way, with the NHL.
Yes.
The NHL is funny because there's obviously the skating element. But if you told me, give me any athlete you want from basketball or football, it would be hilarious to see an offensive lineman, some of these offensive linemen.
Like Jason Kelsey on
But
stage.
if you told me they would take the most average skater, not the worst and not the best, but right in the middle skating ability, they would have zero shot in the NHL. They could be stronger. Skating's going to be the same, but they could be stronger. It wouldn't matter because their hands wouldn't be good enough, right?
Yeah. You could have the best hands in the world. If you can't skate, you're not going to.
No, I'm saying you can skate.
Yeah, even if you can skate.
But you're not going to have hockey hands. You're not going to have the way these guys play the puck, the way
No, the fact that what amazes me nowadays is how they get the puck out of the air. Like instantly. It's so hard to do.
Did you see that goal?
Yeah.
The tip-tac-toe,
Yeah, yeah.
all of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
cross passes. Yeah, but so I played pickup last week, and
That's out of league?
yeah, so it's basically you pay $15, you just show
Absolute
up.
beast.
You might have a problem.
It was awesome. It was really fun.
You're just looking for
But
side games?
even-
Dude, I'm a little worried.
All right, so the goalie was 70
Anyone
plus.
playing tonight?
The goalie was 70 plus years old, and he was killing it.
Stop.
No, he was
Good for
There was a
that
defenseman
dude.
who was 70 plus years old. There was I think he was a cardiologist. He was a doctor, and he was a walk-on at BU back in the day.
Wow.
And he
Did
was
you
on my
lay-
line.
Did you lay him out like
I
the
did
other
not.
guy?
I did not. But what blew me away is it's been so long since I played with somebody who has such a high hockey IQ of like, there's just people who have an innate ability to think, there's a guy right there and the other things are here, so he's going to go here, and they're there already. And the guy didn't even know what he's going to do yet, and he already knew. This guy had that kind of ability,
Yeah.
and I would be skating, and all of a sudden the puck would be on my stick, and I'd be like, "Where the hell did that come
Yeah.
from?" And then that makes me think, okay, like I'm looking for this guy constantly,
Elevates you.
and it makes you got to make the first pass, the easy pass, and it was a really enjoyable experience. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I scored twice.
Nice. How many apples?
I don't know. It's a good question. I had nice tip in, and then a garbage goal. But
We're going to need you to be more.
playoffs are coming up, boys.
Amy said she found a site for her stats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to get on that.
Yeah, we gotta start pulling that.
Yeah, we got to start. Definitely. I want to see where he ranks against the rest of the league. I'm guessing it's pretty high.
I believe it, but he won't say.
It's such a lazy argument, though, right? It's the same thing as
Those arguments suck.
if
I
Alabama
absolutely hate
played the Jacksonville Jaguars, they would win. No, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
You can't take professional athletes. In baseball is another example too. Like you can't take. They just don't switch. It's not a thing.
right.
Yes, guys can play too. Like guys can play baseball and football, and I understand that those. First of all, unicorns. Like what Deion Sanders did, very different.
Right.
Bo Jackson was such
Joe Jackson.
He was one of my
Bo
favorite
Jackson.
athletes.
Unbelievable. But they were training from the time they were, the first time they put on cleats. They were doing both sports.
Right.
You can't do that. Like Chara. I think of Chara, like he does long distance biking. I'm guessing as good as he is at that, there's no way he could, be competitive, like a pro cyclist.
And his legs are so long, it's stride or whatever that.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably go like a kilometer in one pedal.
That's true.
And he talked about this. His appetite for pain is different. I mean, that's one of the reasons he likes doing it is because he just empties your tank and you go to a different place.
Eastern European.
No, thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm
How's that for a gross generalization?
That was racist tonight. Oh, who'd he go after? The Eastern Europeans.
People like that are
Those poor
different. Though.
bastards.
I I was on the Stairmaster for like 10 minutes, and I immediately got down and went home. I was all set with that. Right as I felt a little burn, a little sweat, I'm good, going home. I don't know how people wire their brain like that, where they're like, yeah, I just love paint.
I've already established that I tip people because I want them to like me. The juice isn't worth the squeeze for me at a gym with the Stairmaster because it looks easy and I know it's not. And it's like the rowing machine.
Dude,
I did
the rowing machine's tough too.
I did the rowing machine one day and I was on there for like 4 or 5 minutes and I was like, this is really burning. And
Yeah,
I
it
just started
sucks.
and I wonder if anyone's seen it and I want to get out of here right now.
And it's at Planet Fitness, so it makes you think that it's going to be like kind of easy, where you're like, oh, it's here, like this is an easy gym. No, not even close.
And there's always those guys. You see this guy in pickup basketball all the time. There's always that guy that walks in and he's like, he's like 6 foot, 140 pounds, and you're like, look at this stiff. And then the next thing you know, what was the name of the guy? What was the name of the guy, Tyler, that used to jack him up? He worked at the Boys and Girls Club.
Rizzo. No.
It was Rizzo, right?
It was Rizza. So there's a
Rizza.
Rizzo and a Rizza. I went to
Related
school
to
with a kid
Sism?
played Rizzo.
He is a legend.
Christopher Rizza.
For Tyler's age group because he was a little older than those kids, and he would go and just he looked.
Dude, this guy's insane.
He looked like he looked like he was
Crazy good hooper.
Stocking the shelves of some store. You would never expect it, and he shows up at the gym and just lights out.
Dude,
lights out.
He's insane. You go to the Dairy
White
Applebee's, there's a picture of him in the Dairy Applebee's playing in men's league.
That's
And like, it is awesome.
That's how you know you made it.
Dude, and I remember we used to give him such a hard time though, because he would coach us, we would joke around with him, be like, oh, Riz, like you suck. And then when I graduated high school and I was in college and I would come home in the summer, we had a men's league team.
Yeah.
And we would face off against his team and we'd be like, oh, we're playing Riz, it's going to be a lot of fun. No joke, we'd be standing on the three-point line ready to defend him. He would pull up at half court, jack it up, turn around, cash. And we were like, what? So we had to start guarding him full court and he would just be crossing us up. And he's literally like a 5'8" white dude,
Yeah.
long black hair, like raggedy beard, like it's like skinnier than me. And wearing
balls
like
out.
basketball shorts down to his ankles and just cooks. It makes no sense. He's absolutely insane. And I remember asking him, I'm like, did you play at Pinkerton? He's like, no, I got cut. And then I just like never tried out again. And so I would just like play around at Hood Park and just ended up getting really good because it was just me in a basketball hoop. Cool, man.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
You see athletes like that all the time. That they don't like look like anything, and then they go and they lift and they run or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And they end up being dogs.
Sick. All right, well, I think this 48 minutes. Let's keep
48 minutes, dog.
Let's keep it here. I like it.
I dig it.
It was a good run. Anything else you want to add? Any stories about? Did Nick's dorm room have a nice bathroom, or did you not find out?
His roommate threw up all over the bathroom, so we couldn't use it.
I'm sure you found a spot.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I always do. 48 minutes. I won't run over.
Saved by the bell.
All right, check us out on Spotify, and that's it, right?
That's it.
Oh, I would say we might
Instagram, TikTok.
yeah, Instagram
That's it.
too. Maybe TikTok. I don't know. You got the light of Jesus on your face right now. We couldn't figure that out. Glad we got it in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll see you next week.